All right, folks. The day before we recorded this episode was a big day for podcasts. Mark Maron ended his long-running podcast of 16 years, WTF. And in honor of that, I want to review the documentary about Mark Maron, Are We Good? This one had a limited release. I think it was rolled out in Los Angeles and New York, and then I guess it got a little bit more, and I caught it in that first window. And it's funny, after I saw this movie, a week later, I got an email about, hey, do you want a screener for it? I'm like, fuck. No. I kind of want to watch it again, but I already paid to see it, so I'm just going to give it a free review here. So it's interesting because this primarily takes place mid-pandemic, right after his girlfriend, Lynn Shelton, died. And it follows him through the pandemic and grieving and kind of coming to terms with stuff and doing comedy. And we're also getting a retrospective of seeing him as a child, hearing about his childhood, hearing about his early days of radio, starting in stand-up, getting addicted to drugs, then getting clean. We're kind of getting the full gambit of Mark Maron here.
Yeah, nice.
And if you're a fan of WTF or his comedy, essentially we've heard almost all these stories.
Right.
So there's nothing super new here if you're already a fan. But what we're getting is an unflinching, raw look at his life because we're seeing day-to-day things. We're seeing him in green rooms. We're seeing different angles of like stand-up specials from the stage. We're seeing him like at home cooking. We're seeing him with his cats. We're seeing him kind of just doing normal shit.
Is this narrative scenes combined with like actual footage, like documentary footage?
Yeah, it's all almost, I'd say 88% documentary footage, and then other stuff sliced in. And it's kind of beautiful because he gets emotional. It gets raw, like when he's talking about his girlfriend that passed away. He's getting emotional, and we're seeing him like come to terms with that. And I really had a blast. This was a fun documentary. And there's a lot of comedians and celebrities talking about him because he's got a lot of friends and he's been around forever.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed it. But what I wanted to see more of was him becoming an actor. He kind of briefly talked about acting and stuff, but he's moving into doing films and TV shows. And I wanted to see that. Or I wanted this to pick up and follow showing him preparing to end his podcast, because that's kind of the interesting stuff to me. Because what's this guy that's kind of found his audience and built himself up from the ground,
right?
And found like a phoenix from the ashes. I feel like it could have been fun watching him become an actor, watching him end his podcast, but it's just kind of hyper focused on just like a couple of years, which is fine. It's just I wanted a little bit more. I wanted that unfiltered Mark Maron, which we get, but it's just not as much as we could have gotten, I feel.
And more cats.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting, like you see his house and like he has this like cat enclosure on like his balcony and windows so they can get like yard time essentially. And you see him just talking to the cats like they're humans, like just shooting the shit with the cats, and like he's like, what are you guys doing? And like just being Mark. It's like this is what we know and love about Mark Maron. He's just this guy who is I don't know, a cat lover, a comedy lover.
He's a human being that's not afraid to share his opinions, and it can be intense for some to hear them, but there's a lot of logic to what he has to say. So that's true. I think that's why he's become that's a part of the reason why he's become into the person he has. And a lot of people just like to hear that honesty once in a while. And some people don't, but so overall a fun doc. If you don't really know much about him, it'd be good, but if you've read his autobiographies and listened to his podcast, because his podcast before the show, before the interviews, it's kind of like a documentary, day to day, week by week, like diary to the void, to the audience. And sometimes I'll just turn on an episode to listen to him talk,
and just shut it off when a guest comes on I don't care about, because I just want to hear his take and what's going on, because he's that raw.
Which is so funny, because he jokes about the exact opposite of that all the time in this show.
Right.
I was saying, like, yeah, I know all of you are fast forwarding through this part, but
and it's interesting to see, like, when he's given like some of the stuff, like he has a script he wrote for himself. And it's funny, like I saw like he records on Audacity. Like, we know Audacity. We've recorded. I'm like, oh, wow. I picture it being this bigger, broader setup, but no, he's just doing it on his own computer in his garage. And it's kind of nice. You know, he does it in his garage, but just uses regular software like anybody else.
Yep.
It's just a higher quality podcast than this one people might be listening or watching right now. Oh, boy. Yeah, so I'm going to give Are We Good? I'm going to give it 3 slices of toast.
Nice.
If it gave me more of like him getting into acting, him and in the podcast, I think it could raise it up more. But if, like I said, you're not as in depth with the knowledge that he's put out in the world, it's going to catch you by surprise. I don't know. Sorry, I'm all over the place with this review.
It's been it's been a rocky episode. It's okay. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm trying to pull it up, but I'm excited to hear your review of this next movie, because I really enjoyed it, and you could maybe have hated it. So let's hear about this one, Dennis.
All right, dog shit. Move on. No, I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding.
All right, so up next,
I'm kidding. Yes. So my review this episode is a little film that came out last year, early this year. Hard Eyes.
Yeah, right around Valentine's Day.
Yep. So this is available to watch on Netflix at the moment. It's where I caught it. And it's telling the story of a young woman working for an advertising agency who's concerned she may be losing her position at her job, because this traveling advertising agent who comes in, and he's like the fixer, is like, she's worried he's going to take her job away. While trying to reassure her that's not at all the case, it seems some sparks are flying. At the same time, every freaking romantic comedy reference you could possibly think of is just firing off left and right, and it's cheesy and it's silly, but it's done in a way that it's like, okay, I'm laughing along with it. But while this is going on, as we're approaching Valentine's Day, we come to find out in this version of Seattle, Washington. I guess he's been traveling across the country. That's right. So this killer pops up every Valentine's Day called the Hard Eyes Killer, and he goes after couples and kills them in horrific ways. And he wears this distinctive sort of leather hooded mask that you have heart cutouts for the lenses over the eyes that glow red. So it's
kind of cool looking.
Yeah, it's got a fun pop of flair to it. So as gory as this movie is, it is way more a comedy.
Yes,
it's full of laughs. If you have that dark sense of humor and you don't mind a little bit of a few crude jokes tossed in there, like a vibrator getting tossed at Hard Eyes' face, it's like I said, it's full of chuckles. I was digging it. I even had a few oohs and ahs in the way some of the kills went down. Primarily this cast, I was not familiar with our main 2 stars really, but it was wild to see Devon Sawa like present day and Jordana Brewster making the Fast and the Furious reference,
and she is Fast and Furious herself.
Yes, exactly. It is a lot of fun. I am really glad it was shared with me. I mean, I know we talked about it on the show before, but like I said, I just had company over this weekend, and they're strongly suggesting that we watch this since I hadn't seen it yet. So I was like, yeah.
You listen to them and not the guy that you talk to about movies every week. I appreciate that.
They're big movie people too. So
yeah, but do they see every single movie that comes out like a fucking loser? No, they have lives, Dennis. I don't. I know. I know. I'm sorry.
So yeah, screw Adam's opinion. My slice review. No, just you always jump to that conclusion. I'm like, oh, all right. Not the case.
Just fucking with you.
But yeah, it's genuinely a lot of fun. And I think as much as this could be a Valentine's Day sort of tongue-in-cheek comedy movie, this is also a Halloween movie with all the mounds of blood and guts that spill across the screen. So Hard Eyes over on Netflix. I am also going to give 3 slices of toast.
Heyo. Yeah, what I really dug, it plays as a rom-com. It plays cheesily because it knows what it's doing. And it also hits hard. There's gore. There's mystery. There's twists. There's turns.
I like the structure of it, almost trying to follow like a Lifetime channel romantic comedy movie, but it's shot way too well. You know, like the cinematography is way better than what you'd normally see. The effects are way better than what you would normally see. So it has a very like, it's supremely self-aware, and that's what makes it work so well.
100%. All right, well, I have a new movie that is pretty floppy at the box office right now. I have the third movie in the Tron series, Tron Ares. All right, now, if you listen to this show or watch it, a couple of episodes ago, you and I, Dennis, we're talking about the fact that we don't really care about this franchise or never saw it or it's been a while or whatnot. And I got a lot of flack. So I went back because I knew this new one was coming out and the trailer intrigued me. And I watched the first two movies and I found an appreciation for it. Like, I understand why the first one's so beloved. It was revolutionary. It did a lot for the genre. And then all these years later, they made it flashy and bigger with Tron Legacies. And I enjoyed it. It was okay. And this one is interesting because it takes place after those two movies. And you don't even have to have seen those movies because they give like a kind of recap previous on type of situation in the beginning of this movie. And it's interesting because this movie is kind of like the Last Jedi of the Tron universe. The other movie, we set up Flynn's son taking over the company. Olivia Wilde came out of the grid and joined him in the real world, and they lived happily ever after, we think. But this rewrites all of that, essentially. The son exists, and he's no longer running the company. And he's kind of gone, not missing, but him and Olivia Wilde are gone. And there's Easter eggs hidden throughout the whole movie. And there may be some twists and turns that set up a possible fourth movie involving them. I don't know. But this movie is essentially about Greta Lee's character. Her and her sister took over Encom, which is Flynn's company, the video game company. And Greta Lee's sister passed away, and she's dealing with grief. But she is also trying to find a way to better humanity and find like this thing called like there's MacGuffin that essentially can bring stuff out of the grid and into reality. So she wants to use that for good. She wants to essentially be able to help mankind by bringing like plants and trees and stuff that can really enrich the world for better. But she doesn't have the code that Flynn made. It's hidden. She thinks her sister had it somewhere. And on the other side of town, we have Flynn's enemy, the guy who kind of ripped Flynn off in the first movie, Dillinger. His grandson is now running a rival company that also wants to find this master code to do this because he knows how to pull people out of the grid. And he wants to weaponize that. Tron Ares essentially rewrites what was done in Tron Legacy, but the visuals are insane. The soundtrack is so fucking great. I'm not a Nine Inch Nails fan, but it sounds amazing. And the stuff they do, the way the camera moves is so visually stunning. The acting's pretty good all around. Some of the actors are underused. Like Jimmy Anderson and the supporting casters, they honor the original Tron in a pretty amazing way. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me on that, but fuck.
Nope.
Yeah. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say let's just end this bad boy. Let's bring it in.
Throw a slice out there. Let's give it.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay, I kind of did, but you didn't hear me. 3.5 slices of toast for Tron Ares.
Surprising. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
wish I could tell you why, but yeah.
Damn.
So
all right.
I think right now there's weird weather here, and I think when that happens, sometimes electricity grids get fucked up and the internet gets screwed up. So I think that might be on my end. I'm sorry, man.
Oh no,
and
sorry to the listeners.
Inclement
weather here